Shlomo has completed the building of the Beit HaMikdash, and he has completed the building of his home, two major building projects. And thus we're told the beginning chapter 8 as Yakel Shlomo et Ziknei Yisrael vet kol roshei hamatot nisiyei avot livnei Yisrael Melech Shlomo Yerushalayim la'alot et Aron Brit Adonai Me'ir David Hi Tzion. So now Shlomo's gathered all the elders and everybody, all the heads of Israel, to bring the ark from the city of David to Jerusalem. So Jerusalem's a little higher up on the hill, the city of David a little lower. I believe it's where Silwan is today, if you sort of part of Jerusalem, but it's not a long journey we're talking about, but he's going to bring the ark up to the temple. And Shlomo gathers them in the 7th month, which is the month of a festival, right? It's the month of Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, especially Sukkot. That is a great and a joyous holiday because people have all their crops and they know they're going to make it through the winter. So all the elders came and they lifted up the ark. And the priests and the Levites, they brought all of the vessels to the tent, to the temple that Shlomo had built. So here we have, right, when David wanted to move the Aron, it was a very big procedure and people died. And here, very simple and very straightforward. The Elimelech Shlomo, verse 5. Shlomo and the whole community that was assembled were offering sacrifices, and they were so abundant, they were so many, we could not possibly count them. And the priests, they brought the ark and they placed it into the Holy of Holies, into its place, under the wings of the cherubs. If you remember, we have the cherubs, of course, on the ark itself that were built way back when during Moses' days by Bezalel. But Shlomo constructed these two other larger statue kruvim that were sort of over the Kodesh Kodashim, and that's what it means here that they placed it in there. Ki kruvim, verse 7, konfim el mekom haron ve'yasarku kruvim al haron ve'al badav milmar. For the cherubs had their wings spread out over the place of the ark, so the cherubs shielded the ark and its poles from above. And the poles they projected so that the ends of them were visible in the sanctuary, but they could not be seen outside, further out. And they remain to this very day in that way. And obviously this chapter was written well before the destruction of the temple. Verse 9, there was nothing else inside the ark but the two tablets of stone which Moses placed them when God took the Jewish people out of Egypt. Now, according to the rabbis, there's more than just these two luchot. There's the two luchot, the second set. There's also the first set that was broken, and there are some other things in the Torah, in the Aron, according to the rabbis. There's a Torah that was written by Moshe, there's a jar of man. But here, what it's trying to say, I believe, is that the luchot are in there. The luchot is the understanding, sort of God's embodiment in this world. So the luchot represent God's embodiment in this world, something that God created and God gave to Moshe, and thus they are sitting in the Aron because that is also sort of a vessel that's the embodiment of God in this world. Okay, so we're up to, so that's what it says about the ark here, and we continue. So the priests, they left the sanctuary, and the cloud filled the sanctuary. Similar language like we have at the book of Shemot, that God's presence filled the sanctuary, and thus the same way it says there that Moshe could not enter in verse 11. But then the priest could not enter because the cloud, God's glory, filled the house. And now we get to the prayer of Shlomo. Az amar Shlomo, Adonai amar lishkon ba'arafel. Shlomo declared, the Lord has chosen to abide in a thick cloud. Bano vaniti beitzvul lach machom l'shiftach. I have now built for you a stately house, a place where you may dwell forever. Notice here, this is to me one of the questions here about Shlomo's very pretty prayer, very beautiful prayer. It's always, I did this, I did that. Last time I checked, I don't know that Shlomo was the one who was, pulling the rocks out and chopping down the trees. But Vayasev Hamelech et panav vayvarech kol kal Yisrael v'chol kal Yisrael omen. Shlomo turns to the community, to all of Israel, and he faces them and he blessed them. Vayomer Baruch Adonai leYisrael asher diber befiv et David aviv yado milei lemor. Blessed is the God of Israel. Praise be the God of Israel, who spoke to my father and has fulfilled the promise to my father to build, right, a temple through me. 16. Minayom asher hotzeti et ami et Yisrael miMitzrayim lo bacharti v'ir mikol shiftei Yisrael livnot bayit liot shmi sham ve'evchar b'David liot al ami Yisrael. Since I left Egypt, since the Israelites left Egypt, I have not chosen a city amongst all